I don't even know if I could talk about this beer right now.
But the carbonation to me is what brings it completely to a different level.
Make sure you did your beer stretching. You don't want to pull your beer muscles.
That's very important. There it is.
Get them bouncing. Did you listen to it?
The beer is speaking.
What did it have to say? Alessandro, normally I welcome everybody back to Beer Brackets. It's normally how I start these episodes, but today isn't any other episode. Today is not any regular review, my friend. I'm so excited. This is a beer, man, that we've been talking about reviewing for a year.
Yes, sir.
A year.
A year.
I have been trying to get my hands on this. You've had this for a while. This beer is not produced year round. It only became available again in Ontario, where I am, like a week ago. And I went and I bought as many cans as I could fit in my arms. I just hugged them all and I ran to the
Beer
cash.
hug.
And I think I was telling Alessandro I'm gonna have to go back and just buy their entire stock tomorrow. We are finally getting around to reviewing one of our favorite beers from the last year or two mutually between me and Alessandro from Innis Gunn in Edinburgh, Scotland. Their Irish whiskey cask aged, barrel aged Oatmeal Stout.
Isn't it amazing? First of all, that we were finally both able to get it. A lot of times doesn't happen, but isn't it amazing that you just came up with this amazing new concept, a beer hug? You went there and you hugged all the beers and you took them home with you. It's amazing. Amazing.
I'm hugging this one single beer right now. I love it. I love it so much. And I haven't had this one since it's been about a year, and I've been craving it, and I've had this in my house for days, just waiting and drooling over it. I don't want to wait too long, man. I think we need to get right into this review. If anybody doesn't know about Innis Gunn, I'll put a link down to our review of their original down below. We do a great retrospective on the Innis Gunn Brewery, tell you everything you need to know. We did an Inside the Brackets episode on barrel aging too that goes a little bit into their barrel in beer method, which is extremely interesting, which I recommend you check out if you have not seen this episode. It's very informative and gives you a good sort of little amuse-bouche before watching this episode. So this is their, obviously, Oatmeal Stout aged in Irish whiskey barrels. Aside from that, man, we were talking about this before. They don't give too much information on their site. There's not too much out there in terms of what kind of whiskey was contained within these barrels before. We don't know much. All we know is that it's delicious.
No, kind of like you said, like there was not too much on the website. I was only able to, find that they use a specific type of hops called Hercules, which is apparently an offspring of the Hallertau, which is one of the noble hops, one of the four noble hops. As far as a flavor profile for the Hercules, we have spicy and tangy and a little bit of black pepper, apparently. So we'll see.
An offspring of a noble hop. Wouldn't that make it a noble hop in itself? A prince. It's a prince hop.
It's a prince hop. That's a great, yes.
Man, I can't wait anymore. Let's get this review started.
Let's do it.
Let's crack these open. Let's pour them out. And let's see how this beer does.
And it goes.
First aromas out of the can are delicious. So one thing that everybody will notice as we pour these delicious beers out, obviously it's a stout. It's an oatmeal stout. So it's nice and dark. And it's got that tan colored head. But look at the carbonation on it. Look at the effervescence of this beer. You can see the millions of little bubbles in there doing their thing and going nuts. We cannot wait any longer. Aroma cheers.
Aroma cheers to you, my friend. So
those beer muscles, I want to take a sip.
Yeah, this is a tough one not to jump right in, right?
Just hurry, it's good to the aroma.
I mean, it has like those dark chocolate, slightly roasted notes, a hint of vanilla. I honestly, I don't smell a lot of the hop presence. So chocolate, dark chocolate, hint of vanilla, and dark roasted notes are the main things. And you know how much I love those things. So I mean, it's a 3 on 3. Like I can't wait to drink it. What do you think, my friend?
Starting off strong. I love it. I love it. A little bit of chocolate, like dark chocolate, a little bit of coffee. The aroma is delicious. And a little bit of, that espresso, like dark, bitter coffee. It is a 3 on 3 aroma, my friend. Maybe it's just because I love this beer so much, but I'm salivating from the aroma. And that is always a sign of a perfect aroma. So cheers, buddy.
Cheers, my friend.
Oh, the taste. Let's do us. To us.
Oh, yes.
Okay. I don't even know if I could talk about this beer right now. I need to process this a little bit. By all means.
It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot to process.
Wow.
Beer meditation needed.
I know, right? We're too overwhelmed at this point. We need a little bit of meditation. Do some stretching, some beer stretching. Okay.
Let me take another sip just to be sure.
Make sure you did your beer stretching. You don't want to pull your beer muscles.
That's very important. Well,
it's very important.
The interesting thing of the taste for me is that the dark chocolate and the vanilla are there, but they're not the foremost thing that you taste. I do get way more of the barrel and the whiskey notes on the taste. Maybe a little bit more of the espresso with that slight bitterness. There is a little bit of bitterness, but it's really more like, I would describe it as more like wood tannins, almost like barrel.
That's a good description for
bitterness.
Sure. Yeah.
But the whiskey,
like licking a barrel.
The whiskey note is what's coming out, and almost like a perfect pairing of taking a sip of whiskey and then an aftertaste of having a bite of dark chocolate. So this incredible combination of flavor just going back and forth, and you don't know where to begin or where to end. Like, so it's a 3 on 3, man. Like 3 on 3.
The taste on this isn't too strong. It's not really overpowering, which I like. That's a welcomed characteristic of a barrel-aged stout for me. It's very reminiscent. It's an oatmeal stout, but it's very reminiscent of other, let's say, dry stouts that you might have tried. We recently reviewed the Guinness Extra Stout, which was a lot more bitter than this. But the way that the espresso taste is kind of really present on it reminds me of that a little bit as a reference point. But better, it doesn't linger as much, and that gets into the finish. But I mean, espresso, chocolate, little bit of whiskey, and just so smooth. All the tastes are just balanced together in a perfect harmony. This is a 3 on 3 beer taste for me, my friend. Perfect scores so far through 2 categories, but now we get into the mouthfeel. You know what we got to do for the mouthfeel, man.
It's my
tradition
favorite
around
part.
these parts, I've heard. Pour it out, do a little refresher. Activate those beer molecules. Get them bouncing. Did you listen to it?
It's wonderful.
I love that you do that. Listening to the beer.
The beer is speaking.
What did it have to say? Oh, so many stories this beer must have. You can actually hear like crackling, like a little bit of like listening to the beer ocean.
It is.
It is. All right, my friend, what do you think? How would you rate the mouthfeel?
When you
we should add a new category for sound.
Yes, we should. It's something to think about.
Yeah.
What strikes me is that when you think barrel aged and stout, usually those 3 terms, like they usually bring to memory a very specific mouthfeel. This is so surprising and so light in comparison. Well, first of all, the alcohol level is 6.1, so we're not talking of extremely high, right?
Yeah.
But the carbonation to me is what brings it completely to a different level, because the carbonation is so present and lightens up all of the experience. So you do still get all of those very dark and rich characteristic of a classic barrel-aged stout, But the carbonation and the lightness are just making it a much better drinking experience for me. And because of that, and because it's so unique, it deserves a 3 on 3. In my opinion.
Got threes all the way through. You know, we were talking about this before we started filming. When it comes to barrel-aged stouts, a lot of them are very syrupy. We use that word syrupy when we're describing it. They're really thick and we find, personally, hard to drink a lot of. I had an experience last week where I went to the Collective Arts Brewery here in Hamilton, and they had a barrel-aged stout as part of a tasting flight that I got, and it was really thick and really syrupy and really spicy. So you can have like these flavors of clove that stuck on the finish and were really overpowering on the taste. And it's so heavy that it makes you not really be able to drink too much of it. Like this, a full can. I mean, I'm looking at a 500 milliliter can here. I could easily drink 2 or 3 of these. Alcohol, I mean, 6.1% is pretty low for a barrel-aged stout. So, like you said, it's really carbonated. It's really refreshing. It's almost like you're drinking. It's almost like you're drinking an ale in terms of the lightness of the body and the carbonation level. It's fantastic for what it is. It's a 3 on 3, man, for mouthfeel for me. Absolutely. If you compare it to its peers, other barrel-aged stouts, it's not as creamy, it's not as syrupy, but I like that. So if that's something that you think appeals to you out of like a strong stout, then this would be for you as well. The finish is interesting here. What do you think?
The finish, like always, is where all the magic happens. We talked about the bitterness showing up like a barrel wood kind of character, the dark chocolate, the espresso note. All of these notes are showing off in the finish as well. But I find that the whiskey notes are what are lingering the most, at least for me. It almost gets to the point where if you wait long enough, forgetting that you're sipping on a beer, and it almost feels like you've taken a little sip on an Irish whiskey. Which
a little sip of Jamie, a little sip of Jameson.
Exactly. So maybe they used Jameson. Who knows? If somebody knows, please tell us.
If somebody does know, please let us know down below. We would love to hear from you beer explorers. Let us know, because we could not find any information on this.
I always say that when a beer is able to bring on notes, making last appearance in the finish, and they almost like dance in this like beautiful harmonized like symphony. It's
a cacophony.
It's beautiful. How can it not deserve a 3 on 3? It's got to have a 3 on 3.
We are approaching perfect beer territory here.
Right.
I mean, on the finish, you get those espresso notes, a little bit of chocolate, but like you said, the whiskey really stands out. For a reference point, if you're thinking, a classic Irish whiskey like a Teeling or like a Jameson, little sip of that, where it's not overly peaty like other certain like scotches are, let's say. It's a very clean finish like an Irish whiskey is known for. That kind of flavoring is what you get on the finish here, and it just lingers. It lingers enough, like you said, to make you think, like, if you didn't know any better, you might have taken a sip of whiskey, a little lick of whiskey. And it is a 3 on 3 finish. I got to stop you, okay? Because this is important. I don't know if you have the perfect beer gong handy or not, but we might need it. Because now we have 3 on 3s all the way through. And we're coming down to the overall experience. And the overall experience is where the intangibles come into play from beginning to end as a beer experience. How would you rate Innis Gunn Irish Whiskey Cask?
So, my friend, you said that very well. It's the intangibles. And obviously, as a beer experience from all the parts, it's a 3 on 3. But here's the intangible that I think it's important to mention.
I have a feeling this is going to be a 3.
The barrel age experience that most people are used to might deserve a look on this beer, and because of that, it's so unique. It's just makes it up to the 3 on 3 for an overall, because it just elevates everything. So it just it deserves it. It's just such a fantastic experience from finish to end, and on top of that, it's unique. So there you have it, my friend. That's my opinion. What do you think?
I had to get up for a second and leave. It's too much. It's too much, man. The fact that we might have another perfect beer is it's overwhelming. So it's come down to me. This is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure on my
Have a
shoulders.
sip, my friend. Have a sip, my friend.
You're a wise man, Alessandro. I don't know if I've ever told you this before,
Cheers.
but
Thank you. Cheers.
You are a wise man.
Let the beer speak to you.
The pressure is just mounting on my shoulders here. We don't have too many beers in the Perfect Beer Hall of Fame. So if we do have another one that joins the rankings, this would be a very big deal. Maybe I'm a little biased, man, but from beginning to end, this beer is just perfect in my mind. It stands apart from other barrel-aged stouts. It's a 3-on-3. We have a new perfect beer entering the Beer Brackets Perfect Beer Hall of Fame. Get the perfect beer going.
I have it conveniently here.
Good.
And 1, 2, 3.
Just let that sound resonate. Gives me chills. Wow.
It does.
So we have a new challenger for the ultimate beer, but most importantly, a new beer in the Perfect Beer Hall of Fame. Everybody let us know down below if you had the Innis Gunn Irish Whiskey Cask before. What do you think about it? Would you agree with our scoring of it being perfect? Let us know. Is there one that you've had before that you like better? Cheers, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Hopefully you had your own barrel-aged stout while watching along with us today. Join us next time, and don't forget to close your barrel-aged stout beer brackets.
Never forget.